Morning arrived under a sky of dark gray clouds. Inside the Sterling mansion, no one spoke during breakfast. The silence was heavier than anger. Richard Sterling stood at the head of the table, his eyes fixed on the city beyond the windows. Without turning around, he said, "Bring me Victor Cross." Marcus nodded immediately. "I'll find him." "You won't have to," Richard replied. "He always comes when there's blood to be spilled." An hour later, a black helicopter landed on the private helipad behind the mansion. A tall man stepped out. He wore a dark suit, black leather gloves, and carried a small silver briefcase. A long scar stretched across his left cheek. Victor Cross, the ghost everyone believed was dead. He entered Richard's office without saying a word. Richard poured 2 glasses of whiskey. Victor ignored the drink. "You didn't call me here for a reunion." Richard placed a photograph of Victoria Hale on the desk. "She's alive." Victor looked at the picture. For the first time in years, his expression changed. "I watched that house burn. There shouldn't have been a survivor." Richard's voice became cold. "There was. And now she's destroying everything we've built." Victor closed the briefcase and stood. "I'll finish what I started." Richard stopped him. "No, I don't want her dead." Victor frowned. Richard smiled faintly. "I want her captured alive. I want her to watch the Sterling Empire rise again before I destroy her with my own hands." Across the city, Victoria received an encrypted alert on Noah's computer. A hidden tracker inside the Sterling mansion had just activated. "Noah, read the message. Someone new has entered the mansion." Victoria studied the satellite image. The facial recognition software identified the visitor within seconds. The screen displayed one name, Victor Cross. Hands slowly tightened into fists. For 10 years, she had searched for the man who murdered her parents. Now, she finally knew where he was. Noah looked at her. "What do we do?" Victoria picked up her black coat and loaded a magazine into her pistol. Her eyes burned with quiet determination. "We stop waiting. We go to him." As thunder rolled across the city, she walked toward the exit. For the first time since the night of the fire, hunter and prey were about to meet face to face. A cold wind swept across the rooftop of an abandoned warehouse overlooking the East River. Victoria Hale stood in the shadows, binoculars in hand, watching the black convoy leave the Sterling mansion. In the center vehicle sat Victor Cross, the man who had stolen her childhood, the man she had hunted for 10 long years. Noah lowered his drone onto the rooftop. "The convoy is heading toward Pier 17, he said. "There are at least 12 armed guards."
Victoria nodded.
"They're expecting an attack." Noah looked at her. "So, what's the plan?" A faint smile appeared on Victoria's face. "We're not attacking. We're sending a message." An hour later, Victor Cross entered an abandoned shipping warehouse at the pier. Richard Sterling had arranged a secret meeting with several international investors. The warehouse was surrounded by armed security. Every entrance was guarded. Every rooftop was watched. Victor believed no one could reach him. He was wrong. The lights suddenly went out. Darkness swallowed the building. Guards shouted into their radios. "Backup generators. Move!" Before anyone could react, every projector inside the warehouse switched on. The walls came alive with giant images. A burning house. Police reports. Hidden bank transfers. photographs of innocent victims. Then one final picture filled the wall. Family. A woman's voice echoed through the warehouse speakers. Do you remember them, Victor? The room froze. Victor's eyes widened. He recognized the voice instantly.
Victoria.
A spotlight illuminated the catwalk above. Victoria Hale stood alone, dressed in black. She wasn't hiding. She wanted to be seen. Victor slowly smiled. So, you survived. Victoria stared into his eyes. You took everything from me. Victor shrugged. It was just another mission. Those words hit Victoria harder than any bullet. For him, the murder of her parents had meant nothing. Just another job. She raised a small remote control. I didn't come here to kill you. I came to make sure everyone sees who you really are. With one press of the button, every television screen in the warehouse displayed classified documents linking Victor Cross to assassinations, illegal operations, and the Hale family murders. The investors stepped back in shock. Whispers spread across the room. Victor's reputation was collapsing before his eyes. His face darkened with rage. You've made a mistake, he growled.
Victoria calmly replied, No, Victor.
You did. Then she disappeared into the darkness as smoke grenades filled the warehouse. Gunfire erupted. By the time the smoke cleared, Victoria Hale was gone. But this time, the whole world had finally seen the face of the devil. The warehouse was still filled with smoke when police sirens echoed through the harbor. Investors rushed toward the exits. Journalists who had secretly been invited to the meeting recorded everything on their phones. Within minutes, videos of Victor Cross's face and the classified documents spread across the internet. For the first time in his career, the ghost had been exposed. Inside the Sterling mansion, Richard Sterling watched the breaking news the same headline. Secret operative linked to Sterling empire exposed. Marcus slammed his fist onto the table. She's humiliating us. Richard turned off the television.
No.
She's provoking us. He looked toward Victor Cross. You let her escape. Victor's scarred face remained emotionless. I underestimated her. It won't happen again. Richard stepped closer. Then don't fail me twice. Across the city, Victoria returned to the safe house. Noah was already tracking the reaction online. The public believes the documents are real, he said. But the Sterlings have started calling them fake.
Victoria nodded.
They'll deny everything. They always do. Sophia entered the room carrying another sealed file. I found this in the company archives before I left. She placed it on the table. Inside was a list of names. Judges, police commissioners, senators, business leaders. Every one of them had secretly accepted money from the Sterling family. Noah stared at the pages in disbelief. They've bought half the city. Victoria quietly closed the file. Then we don't fight the city. We expose it. Just then, one of Noah's computers began flashing red. Someone was trying to access their secure network. The attack was sophisticated.
Fast. Precise.
Noah's fingers raced across the keyboard. This isn't an ordinary hacker. The screen suddenly went black. A single message appeared in white letters.
Hello, Victoria.
A second line slowly appeared. While you should have killed me when you had the chance. Victoria's eyes narrowed. Victor. The message vanished. In its place appeared a live video feed. Victor Cross was standing inside the Hale family's burned house. He looked directly into the camera.
I know
and
you're
picked up a small silver necklace. It had belonged to Victoria's mother. Victor smiled coldly. I've kept this for 10 years. If you want it back, come and take it. The video ended. The room fell silent. Victoria clenched her fists so tightly that her knuckles turned white. For 10 years she had fought with patience. Now, the man who murdered her family had made it personal, and she was ready to answer. The video replayed over and over on the large monitor. Victor Cross stood in the ruins of the Hale family home, holding Victoria's mother's silver necklace between his fingers. Every second of the recording had been designed to provoke her. Noah looked at Victoria with concern. It's a trap. Victoria didn't reply. She already knew. Victor Cross had never made careless moves. If he wanted her to come, it meant he had prepared for her arrival. Sophia stepped closer to the screen. I recognized that building behind him. She enlarged one frame of the video. An old stone mansion appeared in the background. That's Blackwood Manor, she said quietly. It used to belong to one of Richard Sterling's business partners. It's been abandoned for years. Victoria studied the image. No, it only looks abandoned. That night, a black SUV rolled through the iron gates of Blackwood Manor. Rain poured across the cracked driveway as Victoria, Noah, and Sophia watched the estate from a nearby hill. No lights were visible. No guards. No movement. It was too quiet. Victoria activated a small surveillance drone. The drone flew silently above the mansion, scanning every room. The thermal camera immediately detected dozens of armed men hiding inside the walls and basement. Noah exhaled slowly. 42 armed guards. Snipers on the roof. Motion sensors at every entrance.
Wants you to walk in.
Sophia looked at
Victoria
Victoria.
smiled fondly.
So we'll make him walk out. She opened a metal case in the back of the SUV. Inside were several compact EMP devices, smoke grenades, and encrypted transmitters. Noah raised an eyebrow. You've been planning this for a long time. For 10 years, Victoria answered. Midnight. The first EMP device activated. The entire estate went dark. Floodlights exploded. Security cameras died. Electronic locks failed. Inside Blackwood Manor, alarms screamed through the hallways. Victor Cross stood calmly in the center of the grand hall. A guard rushed toward him. Sir, we've lost all power. Victor smiled. No. We've found our guest. Outside, Victoria pulled the hood of her black coat over her head. She looked toward the mansion. This ends tonight. She stepped through the front gate. Alone. Hidden in the darkness above, a sniper aimed directly at her heart. Far inside the manor, Victor Cross slowly loaded his pistol. For the first time in 10 years, hunter and prey stood only a few rooms apart. Neither of them intended to leave Blackwood Manor without finishing the fight.